look at the experiment of Black America today, right? A group of individuals who, in the 1960s, when Patrick Moynihan issued his report, they were shocked. They said there's an epidemic going on because 23% single motherhood rate in the Black community, 23% of Black children are growing up without a father in the home, an epidemic. Today that number is more like 77%, right? From the 1960s to today, think about that, the family breakdown. And then I think, okay, but it's not just like we're seeing it in the category of welfare incentivization or that it's just focused on Black America. They've widened it, right? Suddenly now we have Black Lives Matter. You can go explicitly to their website and they state explicitly that they want to dismantle the nuclear family. Think about that. Billions and billions of dollars going to an organization that is not even hiding what they're after. And by the way, to this day, nobody can answer this question. When you log on to Black Lives Matter and you donate $1, where does the money go? It's a huge mystery. It's like a hole, right? I think we know where it goes. We don't know, but we know, right, where it goes. Billions of dollars they raise using Black faces, right? Look over here, Breonna Taylor. Look over here, George Floyd. Quick, get your dollars out. The only way to stop this is to donate. And nobody knows where it goes. There's no Black Lives Matter college campus. There's no Black Lives Matter office building. Is it possible? What is the employee structure? What is the corporate structure? You've raised billions. Where is the money going? It's a mystery. We know what their goals are, the breakdown of family, and this isn't the only system. Let's not just put the whole onus on Black Lives Matter. And then I said, well, another thing that seems to be after the breakdown of family is the radicalized feminist movement, right? I'm probably one of the proudest non-feminists in America. You have women running around telling other women that they don't need men, that is a token of your security in life, that you don't need men. The good news is that biology will take those people out, right? I mean, it's not going to end well, right? We don't have to fight that too hard, okay? That they'll finish themselves off eventually with that mentality. But what an idea to tell little girls that there's something fundamentally wrong with being a woman in general. We've seen this attack on femininity, right? It's like the uglier you can get, the more points you earn in the world of feminism. Shave your head, dye it purple, right? Wear baggy clothes, don't shower. This is like progressivism unleashed, right? The grimier you can look, then you're sticking it to the man, the patriarchy. But at the same time, feminism also says that the height of feminism is taking your clothes off, right? Right? Cardi B and WAP, right? That's the #1 song. You can laugh. It's the #1 song. There are girls on the internet doing this dance, popping on the ground, wearing less clothes. This is the direction that culture is going, because you know what? We also celebrate promiscuity now, is what radical feminism is about. Sex should mean nothing. It's okay if you want to have sex. It means this is it. This is liberation. Let me tell you something. If you think that the only way to make it in life you have to take your clothes off, you are not free. You are in bondage, okay? That is not freedom. And by the way, if you needed me to say it, by the way, if you think you're winning because you want to free the nipple, one of the many radical feminist campaigns, take your clothes off and be naked, and you think men are going to be upset about that, the patriarchy might be winning, okay? They might be winning. You have girls that are pretending that this is progressive, right? You shouldn't aspire to marriage, but you should aspire to sexual promiscuity. The radical feminism. And what are they after at the end of the day? The breakdown of family, right? They want you to think that you're going to be happy at the end of the day if you stay away and you don't value these things, if you don't value yourself and have respect and want to look for a man that respects and values you. Let me tell you something. There has never been a country in the history of the world that has survived without strong men, right? Value masculinity, right? And that push, that radical feminist movement is also seeping in to men, and suddenly testosterone and masculinity is wrong, right? Gillette commercial, don't let the 3-year-olds wrestle, right? That's just toxic masculinity, whatever that means, right? Made up phrases. The left is very good at making up phrases, right? They sound very important and they mean nothing, right? Men being men, showing any signs of manhood is suddenly wrong. And I look and I do these college campuses and something's happening. There is something weird happening. I see these skinny little boys come up. They're not standing up straight, you know? And I have a question. How could you possibly say, Candace Owens, that you don't see the horror of Ben Shapiro, you know? And I'm thinking, how old are you? And he'll say to me, I'm 20, you know? And I'm thinking, wow, a couple of generations ago, let me tell you, you are not the 20-year-old that could have ended World War II, okay? Something is happening. And that should scare everybody. That should scare everybody to think that just a few decades ago, the average age of those boys that landed on the beaches of Normandy, an absolute horror show. If you can make it without crying through watching, and I shouldn't say Netflix, as you should have canceled it by now, but maybe some of you saw, they did the World War II in color. They put together a documentary, and they went through all of the video and the clips, and they colorized it, and it did something different when you could see the faces of these boys. And I'm not just talking about the American boys, right? They did this documentary so well that you cried for the Japanese boys, you cried for the young German boys, you realized how young they were, right? You cried for the American boys, you cried for the British boys because you realized, my goodness, right? This war was fought by men that were 18 to 20 years old on average. Think about that, right? And there was a survivor of Omaha Beach, and he's talking, and he starts crying, and he starts talking about how on the boat over in Omaha, it was just bad luck of the draw. The worst beach you could have landed on would have been Omaha, and the Americans got that beach. And he's talking about how in the water on the way there, it was so choppy going across the channel that they were all just vomiting on the way there, and some of them were crying, saying, I'm never going to see my mother again. It was the same, you know, when they were talking about the Japanese boys who were told that they had to kill themselves. And they were just crying because they were basically ordered to commit suicide, and they were terrified. And I'm sitting here and I'm crying watching this thing and realizing, and the armored ships dropped too soon, which allowed so many of them to just be killed, and they still ran, and they were using one another's dead bodies to shield themselves. And the average age was 22 years old on that beach. And I just think, my goodness, right? We had these people that you would think should be boys, should be home with their parents, and they were going to save Western civilization, right? And then you fast forward to today, and you have kids, boys the same age, literally crying outside of my events because I'm being handed a microphone. Like, that is the peak of their suffering right there, right? Like, oh my God, Candace Owens is coming to speak, and it's incredible. It's incredible, right? And this is what happens when there is this attack on masculinity. These boys wouldn't know what to do with the screwdriver if you handed it to them and gave them 3 days to figure it out, right? I mean, and it's pathetic, and it's sad. It's sad because they're being encouraged that you shouldn't want to do these sorts of things. Like, if, you know, you shouldn't want to be able to put things together. You need to talk about your feelings. You need to talk about this. You need to talk about that. And I'm looking at this culture, and I say, that right there, the attack on manhood, telling women to be men, telling men to act like women. And what is it about? The breakdown of family and the breakdown of society.